Hey guys, it's Miss Crystal. We're gonna talk about some books. So, this time around, I decided to go with like retellings, reimaginings of like stories, characters. Like I don't know. You tell me what I mean. You know. I'm gonna start with my young adult books. So these are gonna be like for my older teens. Okay. This one is called Roman and Jewel. So Roman and Jewel is kind of like exactly what it sounds like. It's like a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. But the main characters' names are Jersey, Cindy, and what's his name? Zeppelin. So they're going out for this play on Broadway, which is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet set to like hip hop songs instead of like your traditional like musical theater songs. So it's a hip opera called Roman and Jewel, and all three of them are going out for parts. Now Zeppelin is playing Roman, and Cindy is a famous star of the moment, and so she gets cast as Jewel. And then Jersey is very talented, but is not a well-known performer, and so she is cast as Cindy's understudy for Jewel. And yeah, that's that. But what's crazy is that Jersey starts to fall for Zeppelin as they get more and more into practices, and then also a video is leaked of Jersey and Zeppelin just rehearsing their lines together, and then it becomes like a public thing where people are on social media voting and saying that she would make a better Juliet than Cindy. So it's about like finding fame, it's about forbidden love, it's about show tunes. So I don't know, if you like that, go for it. Okay, next thing. Tell Me My Name. So I always love a good YA thriller, and that's what this is. And it is basically, to me, so it doesn't explicitly say it, but it basically to me is a retelling of like Great Gatsby, but like feminist, you know? So the main character, I think her name is Fern, and she's living on this like wealthy island called Commodore Island. And like nothing really ever happens there. People are rich. She is going away to college soon, I believe, and she's in love with her best friend who doesn't know it. He's a guy. And yeah, and so then all of a sudden this girl Ivy kind of drops out of the sky from nowhere, and she kind of takes the island by storm. Suddenly she has all this wealth. She's having these parties. Nobody knows like where this money came from, where she came from, and like who's this mysterious like enchantress, you know? And so she starts to get really close to Fern though, and Fern starts to like kind of see the cracks in her exterior, and then also Ivy is asking her to do something. I don't want to reveal too much, but Ivy's asking her to do something that is a bit nefarious. And so they like band together to try to get that done. But also at the same time, like Fern's life is like falling apart behind the scenes because of Ivy essentially. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of good. I like it. Anyway, middle grade. So I'm gonna start with Never After by, I think her name is Melissa de la Cruz, and she also writes the Descendants series. So if you're into like twisted fairy tales, she's here for it all the way. Never After is about, what was the main girl's name? Philomena. She is living her life. She's all good. She's walking through the city. It is what it is. And then she figures out that she's like being chased or followed or whatever by Jack, who is a character from her fantasy books that she's like obsessed with. He tells her that like all that stuff that she's been reading, it's all true. And he needs her help urgently. And yeah, so she's off to this like fantasy land, and as you can see, it alludes to a lot of different fairy tales. We've got a lamp here, we've got some vines here, we've got a treasure chest, and I'm pretty sure Jack is Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, so I don't know, go for it. Anyway, City of the Plague God. So this one looks really fun. This is by, well, it's not by, but it's from like Rick Riordan's company, publishing company. And so as you know, it is God-centered. So these gods are from ancient like Mesopotamia, and the kid in it is named Sikander. Everyone calls him Sik, and he is Middle Eastern, and he has an older brother, and his name is Mo. Mo used to live in Iraq for a really long time, and he really loved it, and so he tells his brother stories about like ancient Mesopotamian gods all the time because that was his main interest when he was there. And now this god has come out of nowhere called Sergal, and that is the god of plagues. And so god of plagues and sickness. And he threatens Sik with Mo's life, saying that like he took something from him, and unless he gets it back, he's going to like spread plagues across the world, but essentially New York City, which is where Sik lives with his family. So it's a wild ride. It's an adventure. You can meet some new gods, you know. Anyway, that is all I've got for y'all today. Hopefully you like something.